This story is called Holler Loudly. Holler Loudly by Cynthia Leitch Smith, illustrated by Barry Gott. Mama and Daddy Loudly named their baby Holler because he cried so loud that the pecans fell from the pecan trees and the prickly pear cacti sprouted more needles. So loud that every hound dog in the county rolled up his ears and tossed back his head to say, "Stay at bay." So loud that armadillos woke from their naps and the turkey vultures dropped their feathers. "Hush!" folks would tell Holler. "Hush!" This story kind of reminds me of my husband, who is a very loud talker. His voice is just loud, and he's often told, "Shh, be quiet." And he says as a kid, he was always told to be quiet. But you'll see why some people are just the way they are. Mama and Daddy loved their son. They tried everything to get Holler to speak more softly. When he was a baby, they'd say, "Hush," nicely. When he was a toddler, they'd say, "Hush," sternly. And finally, when he was old enough to go to school, they found themselves shouting, "Hush!" But it was no use. Every few generations, a Loudly baby was just born loud, and Holler had been the lucky one. Holler loved school. He loved art and music. He loved reading and writing. And he loved facts and figures. But every time he exclaimed, "Yippee-ki-yay-yo, I love math!" his words came out too loud. So loud that Mr. Smarty's chalk burst into dust and the students ducked for cover. Minnie Bell said, "Hush, nobody cares." Jimmy Joe said, "Hush, you're annoying." And Mr. Smarty said, "Hush, no recess for you." Holler didn't like missing recess. How he wished folks didn't mind his voice. Holler loved to go to the big old theater. He loved to stand in line for tickets. He loved to sit in the velvet seats, and he loved to see the show. But every time he exclaimed, "Yeah, I love movies!" his words came out too loud, so loud that he rattled the chandelier and flattened Miss Poofy's hairdo. The ticket seller called, "Hush, I'm trying to count change." The lovebirds called, "Hush, here come the previews." And the usher called, "Hush, you've gotta go." Holler didn't like having to leave the movie theater. How he wished folks didn't mind the voice. Holler loved fishing with Gramps and Gus. He loved baiting his hook with the tamales. He loved floating in Grandpa's boat, and he loved catching catfish. But every time he exclaimed, "Yahoo! Let's land the big one!" his words came out too loud, so loud that his boat tipped, sending them soaring ker-splash into the lake. The catfish yelled, "Hush, we're out of here." Gus yowled, "Hush, there goes my dinner." And Gramps yelled, "Hush, no more fishing today." Holler didn't like being all wet. How he wished Gramps and cats and catfish didn't mind his voice. Holler was feeling blue, so Mama and Daddy took him to the state fair. He loved cotton candy, he loved the Ferris wheel, and he loved the prize-winning livestock. But when he called, "Soo-wee!" Holler was so loud that the hogs broke free. Then the cattle stampeded, and the whole fair shut down. Mama's patience had run out. Daddy's devotion had worn thin. But Gramps' barbershop quartet was singing in town square, so they went to hear it. Holler loved Gramps. He loved Gramps' cat Gus, and he loved their barbershop quartet. "Howdy, looks like rain!" Holler yelled over the singing. "Hush," Daddy scolded. "You're a distraction." "Hush," Mama scolded. "Nobody can hear the music." "Hush," the whole town scolded. Look at the baby. "That's enough."
Annoying.
So finally Holler hushed, and the quartet crooned on. It didn't seem fair, though. Nobody was telling Mr. Smarty to stop thinking, or Miss Poofy to take down her hair, or Gus to give up fishing, or Gramps to forget his songs. Did folks want Holler to hush forever? Being loud was part of who he was. Would they ever appreciate his company, voice and all? Holler took comfort listening to the quartet. He loved songs about cowboys and he loved songs about best girls. He loved songs about love and little doggies. And Holler realized something. When he was quiet, he could listen better. Quiet times could be just fine. Just then, Holler looked to the sky. A tornado! It could flatten the town! Right then, Holler knew in his heart that, sure, there were times to be quiet, but there were also times to be loud. All righty, he bellowed so loud that the land rolled and rumbled, ripped and shimmied and shook, so loud that 10-gallon hats soared into the sky, so loud that Mama and Daddy, Gramps and Gus, men and women, boys and girls sailed whoosh plumb off their boot heels. Go away! Holler shouted at the tornado, which blew a raspberry at him. I mean it, he threatened, on his way to the gazebo. Ha ha ha! laughed the twister.
If you put if we put it the Y and the O, we would sing.
Mommy's listening. Listen up, you big bad bag of wind. This here is my town, and you'd best skedaddle. And Holler was so loud, so absolutely positively knee-shaking, earthquaking loud, that the tornado blew into 1,000 sweet, teeny, breezy breezes, not one with an ounce of sass.
Wow.
It was official. Not only was Holler the loudest boy in history, he was also a hero. Yip-a-ti-yi-yo, everyone hollered. Yeehaw! Yahoo, 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 sang the barbershop quartet, and Mama and Daddy sighed. All righty. In the future, Gramps declared, when you're loud, nobody's gonna mind.
Yeah.
So they all joined hands, cheered and danced till the cows came home. From that moment on, Holler was quiet at quiet times and loud at loud times. The townsfolk were so delighted they put his name on a very important sign.
Wow.
Wonder what sign they would put his name on.
I see.
Holler Loudly, Public Library. Please hush. You have to be quiet in a library, don't you? So he got his name. Look at, there's a whole statue of him, our hero. Good story.
Yeah.
This one does remind me of my husband. He is a loud speaker, but when anybody wants to have attention, he can get anyone's attention. And he does announcing now for fun. He announces at football games and basketball games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your voice is just a part of who you are.